When considering investments, we typically focus on the potential return over a given time frame. Now, generally, the more time spent in the market, the greater the chance of achieving long-term growth within a diversified portfolio. However, there is another important dimension to consider when comparing long-term versus short-term investing: the risk of losses. As shown in the chart here, the probability of incurring equity losses diminishes as the investment horizon increases. For example, if an investor had put money into the S&P 500 between 1929 and August 2025 for just one day, there would have been a 46% probability of incurring losses. In other words, investing for a single day in the S&P was almost a coin toss between gain and loss. Extending the horizon to 1 month reduces the probability of loss to 38%, while over a quarter, 3 months, it falls to 32%. Looking further ahead, a 1-year time horizon carries a 25% chance of loss, which decreases to 16% over 3 years and 10% over 5 years. Crucially, if an investor had held the S&P 500 over any 10-year period between 1929 and 2025, the probability of negative return would have been just 6%. This is consistent with historical market behaviours, even during some of the worst bear markets. For instance, the bear market of 1937 to 1942 was one of the longest in US history, with the S&P 500 declining by more than 50%. This downturn was largely driven by restrictive monetary policy and the outbreak of the Second World War. The bear market lasted 62 months, just over 5 years, beginning in March 1937. However, by April 1946, around 9 years later, the S&P had delivered a cumulative return of 19% over that period. This evidence highlights that while short-term equity returns can fluctuate sharply, the longer the investment horizon, the lower the probability of loss. In turn, this provides stronger protection against downside risk and helps maximize long-term growth within a diversified equity portfolio. For more insights such as these, please visit our website www.seasprayprivate.ie.